So. Einen wunderschönen Nachmittag, meine Damen und Herren. Ihr seid begrüßt mit das Balafon aus Burkina Faso und Österreich. Mein Name ist Mamadou Diabate. Und mein Instrument heißt Balafon. Moyame kmelala ngano kmola yela moyame kmelala ngano kmola moyame ni faya ya ngano kmola yela ngano kmola ni faya ya ngano kmola yela ngano kmola zamla bala kmola yela
Mamadou Diabate, thank you. Herzlich willkommen.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you on behalf of the European Capital of Culture, Bad Ischl Salzkammergut, to the handover ceremony for the Capitals of Culture 2024 and then 25, handed over to the 2025 capitals, Chemnitz and Nova Gorica. I'm not going to try to speak any more Norwegian or Estonian, I promise, but I'm going to switch between German and English because, of course, we have a lot of international guests here on stage. So if you'd like to hear, please And we've got a whole list of honorary guests that we'd like to welcome today. Let's start with Urmas Klaas, the mayor of Tartu. Welcome. I'd also like to welcome Kulturhauptstädte, the managing director of the European Capital of Culture in Tartu 2024. Welcome to Bad Ischl. And the future capitals of culture are also represented here. We've got Dagmar Ruszewski, Mayor for Culture, Sport, Social Affairs, Youth and Health in Chemnitz. Welcome. And we've got the Managing Director of Chemnitz 2025 here with us as well, Andrea Pierre. Welcome. Next up, Samo Turel, the Mayor of Nova Gorica. Welcome. I'd also like to welcome Mia Lorbeck, the Managing Director of the European Capital of Culture, Nova Gorica for 2025. Nova Gorica is also represented by the Head of Programs, Stoyan Telko. Welcome. We'd also like to welcome Glenn Mikulev. He is the designated EU Commissioner for Intergenerational Fairness. He's here in a private capacity, and he will become the Commissioner as of December 2024. Europe is also represented by Sylvain Pasqua, the team lead for the coordination of the Cultural Capitals of Europe organization at the European Commission. Welcome to you as well. We've also got representatives from international politics. For example, His Excellency Vito Cesare, the Ambassador of the Federal Republic of Germany in Vienna. Welcome. Gertrud Eichem-Degreif, the Cultural Officer of the Embassy of the Federal Republic of Germany in Vienna, is also here tonight. Welcome. Her Excellency Susan Ecke, Ambassador of the Royal Norwegian Embassy in Vienna, is here as well. Welcome to Bad Ischl. And we've got Merle Pajula here as well, the Ambassador of the Republic of Estonia here in Vienna. Welcome, Her Excellency. As you've already heard it today, we've also got music tonight. We have Mamadou Diabate from Burkina Faso. He is musician and composer and lives and works in Vienna. His projects connect music with storytelling. And I will talk a little bit later about what stories his music conveys, and we can't wait to hear more of it. Tonight, we also want to take stock of what happened over the last year. We're going to talk about the expectations and challenges for the future capitals of culture in Europe, and all of this is going to go down over the next 1.5 hours. First of all, however, we'll have the official inauguration of this ceremony by Ines Schüler, the Mayor of Bad Ischl. Welcome. Hannes Heide is also here. He is a member of the European Parliament and one of the initiators of Bad Ischl Salzkammergut. Welcome to you as well. One of the initiators of the capital of culture, Bad Ischl Salzkammergut, is Karl Hallinger. He has passed away, unfortunately, and we would have loved to see him tonight, but hopefully he will be well represented by the two of you. All right, let me also welcome all our honorary guests, especially those who have traveled far to be with us tonight. Welcome to Bad Ischl. I'm really pleased that we are passing on the torch tonight from the Capitals of Culture 2024 over to the 2025 capitals here in our hometown. And of course, I could be here and I could talk hours to you about the successful year that lies behind us, but I don't want to bore you with that because we're going to hear more about it later on when we take stock. But right now, I want to think about what happened a year ago when I was the mayor of Bad Ischl, and I was just about to, launch this culture capital year. We have worked so hard for this. We have drafted programs and agendas. We had a whole team behind us. And then, of course, as a mayor, you always think about how are my citizens going to feel about this? Are they going to like what we've planned? And hopefully I can tell the future mayors of the culture capitals, maybe I can, reassure you a little bit. You need not worry, because the things that you're going to experience over the next year are absolutely sensational. It will exceed all your expectations. And I can promise you, never in my life have I had such a wonderful year. Of course, there was a lot of work, but it was wonderful work. And the entire town, the entire region has benefited so greatly from this year, that we've had the honor to be the capital of culture. We have really seized this opportunity, and I stand before you here today, and the end is near. But of course, any project that starts has to end at some point, and this is only the end of this 1 year, and I am very excited for what's to come in the future. And with that, I would like to wish you all a wonderful year 2025 as capitals of culture in Europe. I cannot wait to hear what you've got in store. I am very honored to be part of this opening, and all the best to you. And I think 1 year down the road, I'm sure you're going to feel the same as I do now. Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this wonderful event here in this historic Lehár Theatre building shows very clearly and very impressively what European capitals of culture can do. What they do is they connect regions and cities across Europe in the long term, and we're passing on the torch tonight. We want to pass on the passion, the joy, the positive energy that we felt, and the wonderful energy that we felt onto the new capitals of culture. And we're not sad about it, because this is always a new beginning. They are the beginning of a process of goals that you set for yourselves. And here in the Salzkammergut, we want to implement the things that we have started over the course of the Capital of Culture program, the things that we have prepared, that we have launched, that we have taken off the ground. And you can be certain that we will not run out of work. But the things that you do with joy come easily to you always. We are a big family of European capitals of culture. We have created an impressive network, and we want to seize it. And we are passing on this torch. If you're feeling a bit chilly tonight, then let me remind you that when we took on the torch a year ago, it was -8 degrees Celsius outside. And some of the actors and artists that we had on stage hadn't got any clothes on. And still we all felt very warm and cozy. Now, our new Commissioner for Culture already lives in Brussels, and he has gotten quite used to these cold temperatures. So actually it's quite warm here in comparison. Let's enjoy this event. And what has really characterized this last year is the one thing: salt is culture, culture is the new salt, and may the salt be with you. Thank you so much, and all the best for your upcoming year. Thank you, Ines Schiller and Hannes Heider, for opening this ceremony. And this is the third handover ceremony that we've had in this shape. The first two have taken place in Athens in Greece, and this year we're here in Bad Ischl. Now, when we take stock, of course, we have to think about culture policies as well. So let's welcome Margot Natzal. She is Director for Culture and Society of the Federal State of Upper Austria, and she is here on behalf of the head of the Federal State of Upper Austria, Thomas Stelzer. He cannot be with us today because he's attending a funeral. Welcome, Margot Natzal. And I'd also like to welcome Christian Buchmann, member of the Federal Council of Austria. He's representing Christopher Drexler, the head of the Federal State of Styria. Welcome to you, Mr. Buchmann. Margot Nazar, Upper Austria has seen quite a lot of activity in 2024. It was not just a year where we had a capital of culture, but many other things as well. So how would you take stock if you think back over the year? What has this done for Upper Austria? What do you think? Well, first of all, thank you very much. You're very right. So much has happened in Upper Austria in 2024. We had Bruckner 200, so the 200th anniversary of Anton Bruckner. We had a capital of culture with lots of events around the province. But you may say, is this too much culture? Not at all, quite the contrary. Actually, everyone who has contributed to this year has said it was wonderful. The audience was very enthusiastic, very grateful. There can never be so much as too much culture. You all know the saying that, fortune doubles if you share it, and the same goes for culture as well. So I think if I were to take stock, if I were to summarize this, I would say there can never be enough culture or too much culture. We are very grateful that so much has been going on, not only in the Upper Austrian part of the Salzkammergut, but also in the Styrian part, and we are very grateful to all the project partners that we've worked with. So if you've missed it, I feel quite sorry for you, because everyone who did take part was very pleased with how it went down. Well, passing on this torch may also be useful for sharing experiences, giving advice or tips to the future initiators of the capitals of culture in Chemnitz and Nova Gorica. Well, I do think if you're preparing this next year, then you've already done a lot of work. Our mayor just said that, how she felt when she was here a year ago, and all those mayors who are sitting here and are going to take on the torch for next year know how much work they've already done in preparation to this. And those who've already experienced it do know just how long of a path you go along if you do this. A lot of work is going to come for you, but also you're going to feel a lot of energy, because if you're experiencing all of it, never forget that the projects are something that you can enjoy, as much work as they might be. Because once you look at the audience, in the eye, you will see fruits of. So I wish you all energy and also all the joy that you will hopefully feel when you see your projects launch. So congratulations to what you're going to achieve next year. Now, Christian Buchmann, you've got a year-long experience in cultural policy, and also when it comes to, implementing capitals of culture, you have been very closely coordinating Graz in 2003 when it was the European Capital of Culture. Now, you've also participated in 2020, of course. Is there any project that you remember in particular? Well, I thought today, is there anything better than having been part of a capital of culture once? And as you've just heard, Graz was the capital in 2003, and now it's Salzkammergut in this year. And to participate in this twice has been a great honor for the federal state of Styria. You asked me about highlights. Well, this past year, I think the Styrian communities, but also the Upper Austrian communities, of course, have done exceptionally well to involve young people and to give them perspective, a very low threshold, easy access perspective. For example, think back of the poetry automats, where young authors were able to publish their contributions in the truest sense of the words, because they were able to publish them with internationally renowned publishers. Or just remember the cultural afternoons, where many young people were confronted with the arts and with culture, and that kind of inspired them to look closer into culture as an industry. So I think a lot of things went very well this year that we can now bounce off of, and where we can now get a positive outlook in the future, positive perspective for the future, for democracy, for human rights, for the rule of law. And I think that is a wonderful approach that capitals of culture can provide. Now, if we look back at this year of 2024, I think what was challenging and what brought wonderful opportunities at the same time was that we were a region here. So you've had a bunch of experience in Graz and also with the after effects of being a capital of culture. How do you think it's going to be for this region? What kind of potential for change, for sustainable long-term change will we see? Well, I'm going to very flippant here. I'm going to tell the future mayors, do not take advice from past mayors of capitals of culture. But maybe one piece of advice. We have been very offensive when it comes to doing application phases. And everyone who's ever been a capital of culture has provided a wonderful program. But one thing that always gets lost on the wayside is the phase afterwards. And if there is to learn something from the capitals of culture of the past, and I think it's almost 40 years now, then I think it's important to preserve your energy also for the phase afterwards, so that you can be able to provide arts and culture then as well. Thank you very much. Margot Natzel and Christian Buchmann, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we'll do a little bit more of politics here, because a year of culture doesn't only have a regional effect, it also has an effect across state borders. So let's welcome Theresia Niedermüller. She is the Director General for Arts and Culture at the Federal Ministry for Arts, Culture and Civil Service and Sport, representing our Vice Chancellor Werner Kogler tonight. And we've got His Excellency Ambassador Christoph Thun-Hohenstein, the Director General for International Cultural Affairs at the Federal Ministry for European and International Affairs of Austria. Welcome. Theresia. Now, reading the paper today, we keep reading that we live in times of multiple crises. We've had better times, haven't we? So what position, what kind of role can culture take on in times like these, not only for the region, but for the whole country? Well, I think this is a basic need. Arts and culture is a basic need because it may irritate us, it may move us. It is something that lets us dive into a whole different world, which is so important sometimes. And we mustn't forget that the freedom of the arts is a human right. And on an Austrian level and also among the European member states, this is legally embedded in law. So it is an essential contribution to our society that enables us to live in a liberal democracy and to enter into a discourse there. Now, do you think that capitals of culture are regional projects, or do they radiate? No, they definitely radiate. I think we have seen in a very impressive way what rural areas can do, because that's quite often underestimated, isn't it? How much in terms of arts and culture is going on in rural areas. So it definitely radiates across its individual region. It showcases what can happen in a region, and it definitely even goes across national borders. We've had art projects sold for over 100 million euros over the course of this year. So what it does, it generates a huge audience for these excellent projects that have been curated so beautifully by Elisabeth Schweger and her team. Now, Mr. Thun-Hohenstein, you are head of the Arts and Culture section. So where does Bad Ischl radiate to? I do think it radiates all across the world, because I looked at it online and I've seen quite a lot of indicators proving that. But let's remember Jean Monnet, who was one of the founding fathers of the European Union. And he said that if he had to start over with European integration, he would start with culture. And I think this past year has proven very beautifully what he meant by that. And that's a beautiful compliment, isn't it? Now, we live in a time where the global powers are on the move, are being shattered. So what kind of role can cultural politics and capitals of culture take now that Europe is repositioning itself? Well, what is this all about? It's about democracy, it's about dignity, and of course, and essentially, it's about dialogue. It's about renewing, regenerating our own democracies, and we very urgently need the arts and culture for that. It's also about entering into a dialogue with the 75% of all global nations that do not have democracies. And we want to enter into a dialogue with the civil societies within these states, into a very intensive dialogue even. And for that, we need a common understanding of what dignity, the third D, means. And dignity not only in terms of human dignity, but also the dignity of nature, and probably also the dignity of technologies, thinking of AI, and also the dignity of infrastructure. Now, back to Austria. We've already touched upon rural regions. So why do you think it's important to promote culture in places that may not immediately come to mind? For example, rural areas. Why do we need to foster that here? Well, I think it's an absolute necessity, especially when we have this kind of bottleneck situation with the metropolis that Vienna is, and then the rural areas around it, because so much is going on in these rural areas. But it's also about creating opportunities for other projects. And we've seen this quite impressively in this culture capital as well. Projects can trigger a discourse as well. They can move things around within a region, and being open for that and creating a kind of openness for contemporary art, for example, is so essential, because the capital of culture has created projects focusing on young people, for example, the so-called Wirtshaus laboratory, Wirtshaus being a type of inn. Sustainability has also been a huge topic. So I do think that it's important to not underestimate rural areas. Now, one of the goals of the year for this capital of culture here in the region was to open up spaces of encounter and open up dialogues. So, Mr. Thun-Hohenstein, looking at this from an international vantage point, are these capitals useful tools to make societies more resilient? Do you think? Can they really promote dialogue? Yes, I think they're absolutely essential for that, and we urgently need them. My motto is that if we create new constellations, time and again, constellations that promote dialogue in terms of arts and culture, both internationally but also regional, if we manage to do that, then that will automatically make us all more resilient. It will inspire us. It will help us understand things. It will help us understand that we have to work together on this big project that I like to call regeneration. And maybe one last message. I am convinced that in light of the difficult times that we are facing, and it's not going to get any easier, I always say, and form follows function, form follows emotion, as designers say, and I say future follows love, and I'm very much convinced of that. So I think if we use arts and culture as opportunities and tools and connect those with the sciences, with the people, with the civil society, and if we work on this conviction, then I do think that we can handle these difficult times and regenerate ourselves. Thank you very much. All right, thank you, Theresia Niedermüller and Christoph Thun-Hohenstein. We are now going to take a look back, but also a look into the future. We want to look into what the 3 capitals of culture 2024 have done in the past. And for that, we are going to see a few short films, and we're going to talk with those in charge of how it went, what their experience was, what was challenging, and what they enjoyed especially. Let's start.
We'll start with Bodø.
Botschafterin.
Susan Ekib, Ambassador of Norway to Austria.
Guten Nachmittag.
Good afternoon.
Enthusiasts, dear friends of culture. I just wanted to pick up, before I start my speech, with what was said in the sessions before, by the speakers before, and what you saw in the film from Bodø about human rights, about diversity, and you could see in the film the representation of the indigenous people of Norway, the Sami. They were featured in many of the events in Bodø, and there were also Austrian colleagues there and artists. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of background for the film you saw, and you saw also Her Majesty Queen Sonja, who opened the Bodø 2024. So in January this year, my husband and I were fortunate to witness the opening here in Bad Ischl, together with many of you, or maybe most of you, of the Culture Year. We were impressed by the opening ceremony and the many exhibitions and events already in place. A special mention goes also from me to the dancers who braved the freezing cold without a stitch. And I understand this led to quite a bit of discussion here in the region and maybe even nationally. So that's perfect, because art can be nice and also fun. But the most important is when art also makes us think and feel. So thank you so much, dear Mayor, dear Artistic Director Elisabeth, and your entire team. It's been a fantastic year. We have been able to come here to Salzkammergut, Bad Ischl, and visit quite a few of the exhibitions and the artistic events that have been on display. And the Norwegian Embassy here in Austria, we have been very pleased to cooperate with you and support some of the exchanges and visits by Norwegian artists as well. And of course, the year 2024 will live on, because some of the exhibitions from here will go to Bodø also next year, so it's not over at all. And now please let me share words from General Director of Bodø 2024, André Walland Larsen, who was stranded in Paris due to snow, who was supposed to have been here today with us. And of course, he would have loved to be here. So let me read his words. Bodø 2024 has been the first European capital of culture in the Arctic. And what an amazing year it has been. There have been so many highlights, from our unforgettable opening, which we saw, which we managed to pull off despite 2 hurricanes in the same week, to the incredible projects made by Young 2024 and the fantastic contributions from all the volunteers. So you saw that it was kind of like in Bregenz, you know, the stage in the sea, and it almost blew away, but fortunately for the opening, the wind calmed. Bodø 2024 has truly shown what we can achieve when we stand together. We've hosted outdoor events that brought together crowds ranging from 3,000 to 20,000. And to top it all off, we had the best summer weather ever. And for those who know Norway, you can't take it for granted. I also want to take this opportunity to thank everyone we met through the European Capital of Culture Network over these years. A special thank you to our sister cities, Tartu and Bad Ischl, Salzkammergut, for your collaboration and support. Together, we've created new projects and lasting connections that will live on well beyond this year. To Chemnitz and Nova Gorica, the next European Capital of Culture, I wish you the very best of luck. I'm confident that your teams will achieve great success, and I can't wait to see what will be accomplished. Well, let me see how this works. So, to conclude, I would like to thank you from the Norwegian Embassy in Austria and from Bodø for an unforgettable year. Bodø and Norway look forward to continue to
to collaborate as proud former European capital of culture.
Thank you very much. Now, please welcome with me Urmas Klaas, the mayor of Tartu, and Kulturhauptstädte, the CEO of the cultural capital, Tartu. Aha. So you're doing it alone?
Ja.
Bitte schön.
Kultur kommt etwas später. Du kommst auch, Kultur?
Kultur kommt etwas später. Oh, he's coming a little later. Please come here.
Also sehr verehrte Frau Bürgermeisterin Schiller.
Dear Mayor Schiller, Mr. Heide, dear Hannes, dear friends here in Austria
Überall in Europa.
and everywhere in Europe. I think we'll start by showing you the movie. Are you all right? Are you ready?
Ja. So, liebe Freunde,
Dear friends, what's most important is Tartu was not cultural European capital of culture alone, but together with the entire southern Estonia, 90 community from the southern Estonia. It's a neighboring region to Russia. You can understand how important this year was for us and for our neighboring region and neighboring communities, especially in the context of having war in Europe. 7 or 8 years ago, we had our concept, our program, Survival of the Arts. When we started that, we didn't know that we would have a COVID crisis soon, that we would have war in Europe soon. We talked about the change of climate, about conflicts between generations, about what competences, what skills we would need to survive once we've digitalized everything in Estonia. What about people's eyes? What about direct communication and so on and so forth? And then it started. I'm really happy that such an initiative, European Capital of Culture, really exists. It is so important. Culture appreciation brings people together. Setus in the southeast of Estonia also have to feel like being a part of Europe. Have to see that they are something beautiful and have something beautiful to share with the rest of Europe. That's important. We've had more than 350 projects. We've had 1,600 different events that we planned and implemented. This means that these people, cultural managers, people organizing those events and projects, and preparing them, implementing them, they remain in southern Estonia, in Tartu, and they are capable of conveying this message in the future also. and having events and organizing events that can be a competition to other events and that are up to the standards of other events.
25 European capitals of culture, Chemnitz and Gorica, a lot of co-creation, strength, and of course, the best of luck. Dear friends, a city that was once European capital of culture is always remain a European capital of culture, always. Dear colleagues in Germany, Slovenia, and Italy, please do not forget this. Enjoy your title year and know that we will be there for you. We're in the ECOC family. Kommen Sie alle zurück nach Estland.
Please come back to Tartu, come back to Estonia, the old university city that's always young, like you just saw. We're happy to welcome you and a lot of success and all the best to this initiative, European Capital of Culture. We need to stand together and culture helps us do that. Thank you.
Vielen Dank. Kulturleis, wollen Sie jetzt schon, do you want to add something? Yes.
I am a typical Estonian guy. It means I am very shy, I am very slow, and I don't speak German at all. But the year was excellent. Actually, this year was like 5 years of preparations. Thank you, friends from Ischl and Bodø. And I wish for Gorica and Chemnitz very strong mental health. Thank you.
Dankeschön. Thank you. Und natürlich
And of course, the organizers, the artistic director and managing director of Bad Ischl Salzkammergut are here to share their experiences with us. Elisabeth Schweger and Manuela Reichert of the European Capital of Culture, Bad Ischl Salzkammergut.
Que je me demande, Bad Ischl, sauras-tu me le dire?
Welcome, everybody. You know Louise Bourgeois, she was really one of the greatest sculptors from the last century. And once a day, she wrote on a dish towel, I went to the hell and came back. And believe me, it was wonderful. So we made it. It was a great experience. It was really fantastic to work with these people in the countryside, to recognize that the Alpine region of the future, we can learn from it, and we can make it better than maybe in the last years. And we have a little hope that with art, we can develop a better world. So believe in it, and I wish you the best for the next year, to live a really good but hard experience. You need strong nerves, but you can be sure it's really fantastic.
Yes, I can agree. It's a really fantastic journey and a difficult, fantastic, emotional journey. And I think all of us, we too, the team members, we learned a lot, really a lot for our life, for Europe, for the region in all senses. So it's worth to do it. Although it's difficult, of course, with less budget to make many, many things. It's typical for the cultural field. But yes, we did it, I guess, in the end, really well. Thank you so much to all of the team members here today. Thank you so much from us. And a really good wish, luck, and fantastic moments in Gorizia and in Chemnitz, and we all will come. We will see it. Thank you so much.
Vielen Dank. Es naht quasi der Jahreswechsel.
So we're at the turn of the year. We just took stock of 2024 and we're going to have a look ahead, but we are going to hear from Mamadou Diabate.
Ich habe meine Kappe vergessen. Ich sollte ihn runterlassen. Wow, Dankeschön. Wir haben schöne Sachen gesehen und gehört. Das macht eine große Freude. Ich kann leider nicht mehr so super reden. Die Moderateur so super Stimmen, fein. Und das ist Wahnsinn. Ich kann nicht mehr tun. Ich muss noch spielen. Meine zweite Sohn heißt Mama. Und das ist einfach zu sagen, danke für alle Mama in der Welt. Thank you for all your mother. So I play this alone and I sing, but we're going to sing together. Don't sing for me, sing for your mother. And your mother will be happy if you sing. Thank you. Ngunaje ngumama yo nipa nguna nefa ngumama yo Mama yedinga mamulona, mama yedinga mamulon fafe, ngona nefae mama yo. Mama yo ye, mama yo neba, ngona nefa, mama yo. Oh mama, mama yo, mama yo, mama yo. Oh mama, mama yo, mama yo, mama yo. We sing this one together. It is not difficult. If you can sing loud. If you cannot sing, you can more loud singing. This is good. Oh mama, mama yo, mama yo, mama yo. We go. Oh mama. It's good, don't worry. It's very good. And you're going to sing more loud. It's good. Wow. We go. Oh mama. Oh mama. Mama yo. Mama yo. Mama yo. We go. Oh. Thank you, Mama.
Mamadou Diabate.
Mamadou Diabate. One second, actually, during your introduction, I said that you connect music and storytelling. So what is it that you'd like to convey with your music, especially today, where we want to talk about cultural politics and funding culture and its position for our society? Well, whatever you want to hear, I guess.
Balafon.
This is the palafon, my instrument.
In West Africa, in Burkina Faso.
And in West Africa, in Burkina Faso, we play the palafon a lot, and it's its own language. I can tell stories with my melodies. It's not, it's not just mumbo jumbo, it's an actual language. And you can convey with it how you're hungry, how you want to drink red wine or white wine, or whatever. So it's a universal language. Can it be understood by everyone? Well, my palafon does not speak German. I speak German, not my instrument. But with my palafon, I collect language. And it says in Samla, and in my language, that you would say good morning, I una we. And that would mean
of the balafon,
good morning. And this is what it sounds like on the palafon.
I kuna we.
This is I kuna we.
The antwoord is amba.
And the response to that would be amba, which sounds like this.
Yes, this is
See,
so.
and you recognized it.
Dat is genau so.
And this is how
muziek
you can
functioneert
speak
bij
through
ons,
music.
omdat
Music
die
works
spitsen
this
treedt,
way, and then sometimes we play, you know, as three people. We have an accompanying instrument, we have a bass, and then we have a kind of solist. And this is how it works.
Ich habe schon gehört,
But I've also heard that
und alle zusammen, ihr sollt noch mehr Chance
we
geben,
should all together
dass diese Kultur nicht stirbt.
make sure that culture doesn't
Wir leben
go
dafür,
extinct,
und
because
ich lebe dafür.
we
Ich freue mich
live
total, dass
for
ich
it and
auch
through
jetzt
it, and
gerade
I
auf
am
der
so
Bühne
happy to be
mit
here on
meinem
stage,
Instrument, und das
here
ist alles
with you
Kultur.
tonight with my instrument.
Und wann es gibt nicht mehr, wir
And
wissen jetzt
if
nicht,
culture were not to
was
exist
kommen in
anymore,
der
we
Welt, der
wouldn't know
mehr
how to
Freude machen
handle the
kann.
world with joy.
Sport, ich habe schon
know,
viel gesehen.
And you know, there's
Music.
other things, there's
Aber
sports,
ihr müsst
there's
wissen, dass
music,
alle
etc. But you must know
Musikgruppen sind
that
schon fast zu. Wir sollten zusammen kämpfen, dass
a
alle
lot of
Musikgruppen wieder
musical
öffnen
groups are
bleiben. Und dann, dass wir machen.
not going
unsere Freude
extinct,
gewinnen.
but are kind of
Danke.
closing down on
Dankeschön.
themselves. And
Vielen
we
Dank.
have to make sure that we stay open.
Es wird auf jeden Fall auch 2025 viel Programm geben.
So there's going to be a lot of culture in 2025 as well in the upcoming European capitals of culture, one of them being Chemnitz in Germany. And there's quite a few similarities to Bad Ischl Salzkammergut. It's a mining region. It's located in the former German Democratic Republic, and the artistic director, Stefan Schmidtke, is from that particular region. He's not with us tonight, unfortunately, but he is, of course, beautifully represented by Dagmar Ruschainski, Chemnitz's mayor for culture, sport, social affairs, etc. You have the floor. Welcome. And let's also welcome Andrea Pier, the managing director of Chemnitz 2025.
Culture is something that it forgets the border, it forgets all this, but it just looks somewhere beyond, brings people together, and in the long term, because of that, it helps improve people's lives.
Kulturhauptstadt bedeutet für mich eine kreative und bunte Vielfalt in Chemnitz.
Ich erwarte mir lachende Gesichter auf der Straße. Ich will, dass Menschen Spaß haben. Macht einfach mit und kommt raus. Erlebt doch das mal, was Kultur so bieten kann.
Es sind auch schon viele Dinge dabei gebaut zu werden, Dinge, die bleiben, die in jedem Fall bleiben.
Orte werden für Menschen völlig neu erschlossen.
Freiräume, in denen Menschen auch zusammenkommen können und etwas voneinander lernen können.
Einen Schritt machen zu einer vielfältigen und diverse Chemnitz.
Sehr verehrten Damen und Herren,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got exactly 57 days left until the opening, and then Chemnitz will be the European capital of culture, together with 38 communities in its surroundings. And our motto, as you can see, is see the unseen, in its kind of dual meaning, because see what is not visible. And this is not only our agenda, but it's also an appeal, because next year we want to make visible what isn't seen. We want to put people and places in the limelight that may not have been at the center of touristic attention. And we want to be a wonderful host for European guests next year. The fact that we are here today, as many of you know, is the result of many years of preparation to many different topics and with many different contributors. From the outside, you see the projects and the events, but what's at least as important is how new connections have emerged through this cooperation, new contacts, new working relations, but also new friendships sometimes. And I'm sure that our year is going to take these friendships and take them beyond just that year. There's friendships between the city and the communities, different tourism associations, between culture and the economy. This is a cross-party and cross-country event this year, and this kind of exchange of experiences with past and future capitals of cultures, and this kind of cooperation and the connection that we feel that comes from it isn't only extremely helpful, but it's almost essential, I think. And I think we can say that European cooperation and this sense of a shared destiny is something that we really live with these capitals of culture. Next year, we also have a very important anniversary, 40 years of European capitals of culture, and of course we're going to dignify that with our program as well. And speaking of dignifying things and honoring things, I would like to seize this opportunity and thank the teams of Bodø, Tartu and Bad Ischl for this beautiful exchange, for your support, and sometimes also for your moral support. It was very much needed. Of course, you're always 1 year ahead of us, so from your experiences we were able to participate and learn. A very special exchange, which of course was because we had the same language and we were closest to each other, was with Bad Ischl. Of course, we worked very closely together, and we have always felt so welcome here, and this is something that is going to stay with us for a long time. Thank you so much for that. And thank you also to you for taking the initiative and are hosting this handover ceremony after a very work-heavy year. And we are very much promising, and I think I can speak on behalf of Nova Gorica here as well, that we're going to do the same at the end of our year. We're going to be supportive and helpful, just like we've learned it from you. I would also like to thank the European Commission here. On Tuesday, we learned that as a result of the third monitoring for the Berliner Märchen Prize, we have been nominated. And that's a beautiful hat off to the work that we've done over the last year. And it really gives us a lot of tailwind here for our future work. And I do think that we are now more excited than we are tired for this new year. We have a lot of positive energy, and we cannot wait for this year of our cultural capital. So please come to Chemnitz with us on the 18th of January next year. We're going to have a big open air event, and I promise you it's going to be very cold as well. So buckle up and come see us in Chemnitz. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I would also like to start by thanking someone. I would very much like to thank you all for your encouraging, well-meaning words that you have given us to take away for this next year. It is very much appreciated, and it really feels just good to be a member of the so-called ECOC family, the family of European capitals of culture. Our year hasn't started yet, but we can already feel it coming. It's buzzing in the city. Things are happening. Our people are excited for what's to happen. They are participating. They're asking questions. We have presented the program, and we've had wonderful feedback for that. So thank you so much for this opportunity that cities in Europe have been given ever since 1985. And as we've already heard, in 2025, it's going to be the 40th anniversary of European Capitals of Culture. All capitals during this period have been in the limelight for one of these 40 years. Chemnitz in 1988. We had Weimar, and then we had Essen in 1999, and the Ruhr region in 2010. And now Chemnitz is the 4th German European capital of culture. With its surrounding region. And of course, this is an excellent opportunity for us. Chemnitz is located in Saxony, pretty much in the middle of the federal German state, located between Dresden, the federal capital, and Leipzig. And it's always been a bit of a problem for us. You know, we are this old industrial town and we're right in the middle, kind of squeezed in between these two large cities. We're not really the center, though. We are kind of overlooked quite often, and we want to change that. And that's why we have very much prepared for your visit. Together with our culture region, you can expect a cultural program with more than 1,000 different events, with exhibits and art installations in the entire region, participating artists from around the world. And all of this has been made possible thanks to the wonderful support of the European Union, the Federal Republic of Germany, the Free City of Saxony, and as a city of Chemnitz, we have also contributed, of course, and we are also being supported by our economic partners. I would also like to let you know on behalf of Barbara Klepsch, our Saxon Ministry of Culture, I would also like to express my gratitude for the professional support that we have received, and especially for the political will that was displayed to maintain and hold up this ECOG program and to keep it going, because I think it's the cultural flagship of the entire European Union. On the 18th of January, we're going to have our opening ceremony, and we will conclude on the last weekend of November. But that's not it, of course, because programs such as the European Capital of Culture never just end after 1 year. They have an effect that is felt afterwards, which is the entire point of such a program. We've already learned so much from our predecessors, but we've also learned a lot when it came to working together with the people of Chemnitz and the region. Our city has been looked at from many different vantage points, and we ourselves have learned new things. We feel like we know our city better now. We have unearthed cultural treasures, and we have forged new paths for dialogue about and with culture and art. And we have revived forgotten places with programs of urban development and architecture, and we have rediscovered them in a sense. And with that, we were able to reinstate them into the awareness of the citizens of Chemnitz. And based on this foundation, we have also created a so-called legacy strategy. It is going to strengthen these cultural processes in our city and is going to maintain them. So the title European Capital of Culture is kind of like a drive for transformation of our cities and towns, and a drive for a European connection and network to strengthen our societies, our economy, and also the cultural tourism, as well as cross-discipline and cross-border research. It's a huge responsibility, of course, that comes with it. And I'd like to conclude with that before I'd like to invite you to visit us in Chemnitz. But we must uphold European values. We must defend them. We must be very loud about them. Freedom, democracy, rule of law, tolerance, and human rights above all, and human dignity. They must be upheld at all times. So I'd like to invite you to come to Chemnitz to visit our exhibits, to experience our culture, to get to know us better. Chemnitz, the kind of unseen city of Saxony, is going to be made visible. Please come visit us. Thank you so much. Thank you. I forgot to check the time, and we are running a little bit behind. It's great to know that preparations for 2025 are all well within the time frame. So I'm just going to speak faster now. Now, preparing such an event means that I like to consult the ARD pronunciation database, and hopefully I'm pronouncing Nova Gorica properly and Bodø. If I did well, I think we're going to learn in just a minute, because now I would like to introduce Samo Tural, the mayor of Nova Gorica. Welcome.
Und begrüßen Sie auch Mia Lorbeck. Sie ist.
And I'd also like to welcome Mia Lorbeck. She's the CEO of the European Capital of Culture. 2025.
To tell me, is it Nova Gorica? Okay, good.
It is of special importance to us to receive the Olympic flame of culture today, because it's connecting the cities and the countries together through cultural production. It reminds us a little bit of our slogan, Go Borderless, that we will so proudly bear in 2025. But it's not only the slogan, it's our daily life, daily effort in connecting two cities right on the border with two different cultures. This is making us stronger, also mentally, as Kuldar said. But it is important, the most important is that is connecting the cities that were separated before, but now they're connected through the border. And you can see a little bit of that on 8th of February at the big opening. And you can see the culture can be so powerful. Thank you.
Esteemed guests, dear friends, let me first of all greet you in the name of the municipality of Nova Gorica, and as well in the name of the municipality of Gorizia, in the name of my colleague, Mayor Rodolfo Ziberna, who cannot be with us today. You know, there are some days, those on which we still feel mentally well, that we can be a little bit overwhelmed or a little bit intimidated for what awaits us in the next year. But then days like this come. And then we hear from you, those who came before us, hear your enthusiasm, although you look a little bit tired. Hear about your passion, hear about the satisfaction that you had during your year. And this is what inspires us. This is what makes us stand on the shoulders of giants. I'm especially proud today to take this flame of culture back to Nova Gorica, to our borderless region. I'm proud of our borderless team that has built Go 2025 up until today, up until this very important ceremony. We will cherish it. We will take it back to Nova Gorica and to Gorizia, to our new ECOC district, to an underdeveloped belt along the border that we are rebuilding in a sustainable way, make it into a well-designed urban area where both cities will have their new cultural district. Thank you very much, and please come to Nova Gorica and Gorizia next year. The culture is great, the food is the best, and the wine is fantastic. Please come, and together we will really go borderless. Thank you.
Was war, was bleibt?
Well, what has been, what remains, and what will come? What were the experiences of the European Capitals of Culture 2024? What are the expectations of those for 2025? We're going to discuss this a little bit, and then we're actually going to pass the torch. So let's welcome on stage Elisabeth Schwieger, Kuldar Leist, Andrea Pier, Sorjan Pelko, and Sylvian Pasqua from the European Commission. He is in charge of the European Capitals of Culture. And let's also welcome Neda Rosjan-Brie. He is the artistic advisor to Go 2025.
Ach, entschuldigen Sie, Sie. Ja. Entschuldigen Sie. Das sagt dann in der Aussprachedatenbank dann nicht. So. Sie sind so nett und teilen sich die Mikrofone, ja? Ich hätte mir gedacht,
you're going to share microphones. Why don't you come have a seat on the throne? Because I can see you all better when I'm standing. So you will get the microphone to share between the two of you.
What are your expectations for this next year? You're an artistic advisor. You're probably done with planning, but there's still a lot to do.
Yeah, thank you for asking. Yes, I'm artistic advisor, but actually I was the initiator of the candidacy. That's why I'm here. And my expectations are, very hard question, because it's 8 years since I started this, and I saw a lot of ECOCs, and I can understand all of you, but actually everything is in front of us. And it's a roller coaster already, so I expect that it will be even more in next year. But actually, we experienced already so many good and also, of course, very stressful things, but so many good things from our citizens, also from our artists, that I just expect a lot of and more of this.
Elisabeth Schwieger, heute ist die Kulturhauptstadt.
Elisabeth Schwieger, the European Capital of Culture has been a topic today, and funding has always been a question. Journalists always ask you, how much money did you get? How many people attended? So how about funding of the European Capital of Culture? How does that work? What did you do? What did you have to do to fund all of this? Actually, I wanted to talk about art. Of course, you always need money for everything you do.
Uns unterstützt natürlich.
Of course, the state funds us, but it is the taxpayers who live here. They support us because they know that we need culture. And then there are many other sponsors that you can, whose enthusiasm you can spark in order to get this input. And I think the most important thing that we can say about European culture is that it is not only diverse, but that art enables us to open spaces of thinking, that it enables us to make distinctions, to differentiate between things, to think in a different way, to take time to slow down and enter poetic rooms of observation, and that provides spaces in our head, new spaces for action, and it enables us to talk to one another and to realize that art doesn't only connect us, but that art manages to make us strong, especially because art and experiencing art and the different experiences with art enable us to see that there's not just one way of thinking, not one way of living, but that there are a lot of opportunities to think and to live, and that we really need to fight for respecting those differences and acknowledging those differences. Yes, it needs money to do that, but it's not the only thing. You need perspectives and opportunities to get even more money, and that makes it a circle which goes on and on and on. And that's where European capitals of culture come in. Europe gives us ideas, structures, helps funding, but are there any plans to equip cities with even more budget to prepare them better for this great challenge of being a European capital of culture?
With my very limited German, I'm very.
You did not use the
No,
translators. I thought.
Don't worry. I got the question, and I'm so happy to be also with you today because it's a very important moment in the life of European capitals of culture. It's not only a handover, but I think this kind of event is also the moment when we live what the European Union is about, which is solidarity, which is also the exchange, the transfer of knowledge between cities and other cities, between citizens and other citizens. So this is the third time we meet for handover ceremonies, and we would like also this kind of event to keep going because it's really the symbol of what we try to do at European Union level. So the solidarity between the cities, the solidarity between the regions, and also a way to, through culture, better connect the citizens of Europe.
And when we're talking about the future, maybe also about your plans in dealing with cultural capitals, do you think the cultural capitals of Europe could take even more attention, for example, from the European Parliament, from the Commission? Do they need more attention?
Well, I think there is always a need for more attention, but today we have a commissioner designate, so the next commissioner for culture with us. And I think that when a commissioner designate comes, it shows as importance of European capitals of culture for the upcoming commission. And yes, it's important to get this visibility, because we know culture is not always the richest child in the family, and even if it is not only about money, we know that money is also a way to make so many things happen. And when I look back at what Bad Ischl, Salzkammergut, Tartu, Bodø have been doing, also with somehow limited financial resources, it's so amazing. It's really this way of connecting people together and this local context with European context. And this is also what we try to do at EU level, working for the European Commission, the Parliament, the Council, all institutions of the European Union, which we try to make Europe a reality for the citizens. So that's why, indeed, when next year we submit a proposal to the Parliament and the Council about the future of European capitals of culture, it's important to keep in mind that what we do is very important as really the community level, which is a basic level where you have democracy becoming a reality.
Thank you. Kudalais, at this handover ceremony, we also want to pass on experiences. Could you maybe tell us what, in your opinion, what was your biggest challenge and how did you overcome it?
How many hours we have?
You have to be very quick with your answer, I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm very glad that we have had so much international cooperation, and maybe only two examples. One is from May, there was a concert, and in the end of the concert there was a massive kissing act, and the main artist was Conchita Wurst from Ischl. It was a very, very nice event for Southern Estonia. And the second example is with Finnish people. Finnish Institute in Tartu, together with Oulu 2026, organized a sauna opinion festival, first time in the world in Tartu. You can imagine that you can sit on the sauna in 80 degrees and you have had some opinion. And when we went out from the sauna after 20 minutes, when we asked especially from the Southern European people, that do you have some opinion at all? It means, I have to say that international cooperation, it was like a challenge, but we are lucky that we made it with very shy and slow and introvert Estonians.
Stoyan Pelko, you are the artistic director of Nova Gorica, the head of program Go 2025. You have a lot of experience now with planning the program. What would you say, are there any things that could be improved with the format itself?
May I relate to what was first said by our Tartu colleagues and then by Elizabeth. Unfortunately, we have some of the answers already to what was mentioned by Mayor Klaas. We know what comes after war. And this is, for example, the projects that we are working with. We are working on the projects when the artists were experiencing the war and bringing some testimonies to people not to repeat it. But we are also doing with the projects where a new city needed to be built after the Second World War. So how you do it in Europe in the middle of the century? These kind of projects were planned far advance from the time when the bid book was written. But to relate with what Elizabeth said, we also have a mental health project because Franco Basaglia, one of the main, I would say, pioneers of different treatment of mental health, was from he started in Gorizia and then moved to Trieste. And we recently had a performance in Ljubljana by Accademia della Follia. And you know what they said, people who are working there? It changed when the artists get in the asylum, but not because they will be bringing normality in the building. They are bringing the sign of madness outside. And I think we are really, what we are doing for the next year, we are witnessing the world that is really mad. many acts are met, but their experiences, how after the war you could find a dialogue or even a peace. And planning this was impossible 5 years ago, as was said before. But we consider our projects, I wouldn't say as canvases where we just, draw our projections. These are more frames that need to react to what is happening. We cannot ignore what is happening, but the experience of the region, the experience of the two cities is such that they can really say something to Europe. But if I may say, and this will be a completely different tone, because you mentioned sauna, you need to know that when we were in Tartu, Kuldar, our friend from Liverpool, Neil, and me, ended at the end on the poster for this Naked Truth project. And when recently from the Ministry of Culture of Estonia, they came to us to talk about the experiences. You are the guy from the poster. So this is the way how, of course, with all the different planning and everything, at the end, there are some moments like this that stays. And I would like to say that I came together with Neda and our team today also here to give a compliment to Elizabeth and her team, because we learned a lot from you, not just from the opening, but if I may say, we learned that you don't need to fire all the arms at the opening, but that there is a curve of the dramaturgy of the whole year. And we were here in May, and we found out how diverse, in fact, the number of artistic impulses were there. We were witnessing this incredible impulse in the former concentration camp. We were witnessing incredible exhibitions, but we learned from you, even in something that you may say that it's old school. We learned how important the print is. We know how important it is that you have a book and that you have a seasonal newspaper to inform about what you're doing. So this kind of exchange inside the family, I must say that between Bad Ischl, Gorizia, and Nova Gorizia was really fruitful. Like we learned a lot in Bodø or in Tartu. And hope that with Chemnitz, we are doing it on a daily basis. So thank you, Elizabeth, for all the lessons. And please come not only on the 8th of February, but we know that she will be in Nova Gorizia already on the 14th of December, because we're exchanging artists. We are sending a jazz band combo BC here in 10 days, and we are inviting Marusha Sagadin from here to come to Nova Gorizia. So thank you.
Andrea Pier, Sie haben uns ja vorhin schon gesagt.
Andrea Pier, you just told us what you're planning. As time is passing, could you just tell us about the programs of European Capitals of Culture? They always deal with the region. What's your expectation? What do you want to remain within the region? Two of our great flagships that we did together with the region was one artistic project where we have artistic art of 38 communities that will not be taken down after this year. But what's even more important is that relationships are formed. Historically speaking, Chemnitz and its surrounding region, the Ore Mountains have not always had a very positive relationship, but actually we've collaborated closely over those years, and we've started to collaborate in a different way. We've from our readers point gained from this European Capital of Culture. Elizabeth Schweger, why do we need European Capitals of Culture? Why do those projects show us that we need art and culture? We've had European Capitals of Culture for almost 40 years now. It was a really great invention of two cultural ministers who said that there might be too little art and we need more of it. But the thought or the idea has been even older. Stefan Zweig said Europe can only survive if it comes together and acknowledges that diversity of culture means coming together, strengthening one another. And if you do not do that, even on the political space, we've lost. Without having possibilities to meet, to talk about culture, to have culture help you meet in a different way, we will endanger our societies. And this is the signal that the European capitals of culture give to the public. We're different, but we work together. Bodø, Ischl, Salzkammergut, Tartu, Chemnitz, Gorica. We've worked together, we've collaborated. We show the European level how to work together, even if you are different and if you think differently. We could be a model that politics could even follow. We would love for them to do that. What a great closing remark for this panel. Thank you all.
Wir hören jetzt noch einmal Mamadou Diabate.
We are now going to hear from Mamadou Diabate, but our torch is already burning and it will be passed on shortly.
So, ich bin wieder da.
So here I am
Mit der Musik.
with my music.
Und das ist der letzte Song für heute Nacht.
That's the last song for this afternoon.
Also. Ich habe gesagt, das ist der letzte Song.
So I said it's the last song.
Ja, ich glaube, meine Instrument ist nicht so gut.
I think my instrument is not that
Aber
good, right?
normalerweise, wenn ich sage, okay,
But
das
usually
ist
if
der
I
letzte
say
Song,
that's the last song for today, the entire audience goes, oh.
Zu spät.
Oh, well, that's too late now.
Okay. The next song, das ist die letzte
So
Song,
this
heißt Femba.
last song is called
Femba
Felba.
bedeutet auf Deutsch,
Femba means
das ist zwar groß. Und
that's
wir wissen
big,
nicht, was.
and we do not know what it is.
Und ich singe auch ein bisschen
I'll
Kritik,
be singing a little
auf die Politik,
criticism of politics,
aber nicht der gute One.
but not the good one.
Es gibt verschiedene, zum Beispiel, woher ich komme in Burkina
Where
Faso.
I come from in Burkina Faso.
Ich bin schon über 50,
I'm
aber seit
more than
mal
50 years old, but
jedes Jahr, jede 2 Jahre
each year, or
kommen
every
andere
second year,
Politiker
there's
und
new
die
politicians.
reden, die sagen,
They
okay, wir
talk,
sollten
they
so
say,
folgen, die
we
sollten so machen und
oh,
so
should do
gut.
this,
Und
we
die
should do
wissen
that,
genau,
and they
was wir
know
wollen.
exactly what we
Aber die
want.
sagt genau, dass wir sagen, ja, super, der ist gut.
They want us to say,
But
yeah,
they
well, he's
come
great.
Und die tun
And
nichts.
then
Die schon
they
da.
come into power and they don't
Und dann
do
über
anything.
2 Jahre kommen wieder andere.
And 2
Jedes
years
Jahr.
on,
Und dann ich
2
habe
years
gesagt,
on,
ich muss auch
new
singen
politicians
dafür.
come and do nothing again. So I
Wenn
said,
da
I
wer
have to
kommen,
think
dann wir
about,
brauchen nicht
I have
mehr
to sing
viel
about
reden,
that.
wir wissen schon alles.
If politicians come into power, they don't need to say anything because we already know everything.
Ngoni maulika mulu mulu atunya bitara. Ngoni maulika yala yala fa atunya bitara nefala. Umali maluyo, singi maluyo, mali maluyo, ngomini yati kirinye. Ngokele damle na libi kono nefa. Kele flana kele bijan kono ye. Kele sabana kele lagine kono ye nefa. Ngokele nani na mengele malila ngomo woka maliye tikilinye nefa la. Vielen Dank. Das ist der letzte Song.
Thank you. That was my last song.
Und ihr wisst schon, dass die Weihnachtsstation vor der Tür. Ich habe hier einige CD mit mir.
I've got a couple of CDs.
Meine CD machen eine große Freude.
My CDs bring a lot of joy if you give them as presents.
Keine Sorge, ich habe schon alle gehört.
But don't you worry. I heard all of them. They're good. I've listened to them.
Und dann, ja, wir sehen uns draußen und dann kommen zu mir einfach.
So if you see me outside, come talk to me. Thank you.
Mamadou Diabate. Ich will Sie nicht mehr sehr viel länger davon abhalten, seine CD zu kaufen oder sich nachher draußen zu stärken. Deswegen kommen wir jetzt zur Handover-Ceremony.
Grabbing a bite to eat alle Vertreterinnen und Vertreter der Kulturhauptstädte present in future of European capitals of culture present and future to the stage. Representative of Bodø, Tartu, Chemnitz,
Salzkammergut, please, all the representatives of the cultural capitals, please come on stage for the handover ceremony. Und ich bitte auch alle Bürgermeisterinnen und Bürgermeister der Region hier, also Salzkammerguts, die das Projekt gestützt haben, die das Kulturhauptstadt ja mitgetragen haben, auf die Bühne. Sie sind die Helden und Heldinnen dieses Tages. Es sind 23 an der Zahl. Ines Schiller von der Titel haben Sie schon kennengelernt.
Ines Schiller, you've already met her.
Ja, also da hätte ich gedacht. Thomas Afbel, der Bürgermeister von Aubeli, Entschuldigung. Thomas
Aubeli, sorry.
Bürgermeister von Reutham, Christoph Bammer ist der Vizebürgermeister von Scharnstein, er kommt in Vertretung von Rudolf Raffelsberger, Leopold Bimminger, der Bürgermeister von Pettenbach, Ingo Dörflinger, der Bürgermeister von Kirchheim, Nicole Eder, die Bürgermeisterin von Steinbach, Fritz Steichtinger, der Bürgermeister von Lackirchen, Peter Hofstötter ist der Obmann des Kulturausschusses in Vertretung von Herbert Schönberger, der Bürgermeister von St. Konrad, Egon Höll, Bürgermeister von Obertraun, Stefan Kratz, Bürgermeister von Munden, Iris Leude, Gemeindevorständin von Traunkirchen,
Iris Leudl,
kommt in Vertretung von Christoph Schragel, Gerald Leutzel, der Bürgermeister von Altersee, Johannes Mitterlehner, Bürgermeister von Forchdorf, die Vertreterinnen aus Ebensee,
Worte
Sabine Bromberger, sie ist
Sabine
leider krank. Martin Pelzer ist der
Bromberger,
Bürgermeister von Altmünster.
who has fallen
Alexander
ill,
Scholz, Bürgermeister
Martin
von
Pelzer,
Hallstatt.
Mayor of
Leopold Schilcher,
Altmünster,
Bürgermeister von Bad Bausen.
Alexander
Ines
Scholz,
Schiller,
Mayor of
kennen Sie,
Hallstatt,
Bürgermeisterin von Bad
Leopold
Ischl.
Schilcher, Mayor of Bad
Markus
Bausen,
Schmarantzer,
Ines Schiller,
Bürgermeister
you
von
know
Dosau.
her, Mayor
Franz
of Bad Ischl,
Steinecker,
Markus
Bürgermeister von
Schmarantzer,
Grundlsee.
Mayor of
Hannes
Gosau,
Stockhammer, der
Franz Steinecker, Mayor
Vizebürgermeister
of
von
Grundlsee,
Grünau in
Hannes
Vertretung
Stockhammer,
von
Deputy
Klaus
Mayor representing
Kramersberger.
Klaus Kramersberger, Mayor of Grünau.
Brauchen Sie ein Mikrofon für die
Do
Zeremonie?
you need a microphone for your ceremony?
Dann darf ich beginnen, wie schon
I'm happy to
zuerst
start,
gesagt.
like I said
Ich
before.
wünsche den zukünftigen
I'm
Kulturhauptstädte für
wishing the future
2025
capitals of
viel
culture
Kraft,
2025 a lot
Ausdauer
of
und alles Gute. Und ich
perseverance,
freue mich schon jetzt
a lot
auf
of
einen
power,
Besuch.
and I'm looking forward to visiting your cities.
Europa ist unseres gemeinsames Haus.
Europe is our common
Wir kommen.
home. We'll be there.
So. Sie müssen für die Fotos natürlich irgendwie zusammenrücken.
So
Vielleicht
you
kann man sich
need
auch
to
kleinere
get
Menschen nach vorne,
closer
größere Menschen nach
for the
hinten.
pictures. Please,
Schachteln
smaller
Sie sich.
people come
Sie
to
sollen
the
alle
front,
fotografiert werden.
larger people go to the back. Please, we want all of
Die
you to be
Fotografierenden
on the
wünschen sich, dass sie
photo.
alle drauf sind. Sie müssen
Please, we
alle,
want
sie müssen alle
every one
rutschen.
of you to
Alle
be
müssen
there
rutschen.
on the photo. Please come together.
Die Staffel wurde übergeben. Ich
The
nutze die
torch
Zeit,
has been passed
Ihnen
on.
zu
I
sagen,
would
dass es
like
eben
to
nachher draußen
take this
Erfrischungen
time
geben
that
wird und
there will
dass
be
es heute auch noch einen
refreshments
weiteren Programmpunkt
outside and that
gibt,
there is
nämlich um
another
19 Uhr in den Stallungen der
event
Kaiservilla. Da findet
in
der Abschluss
at
des Formats Forum
19 at
Zukunft
7
statt.
p.m.
Die
There's
jungen Menschen,
going
die
to
sich daran
be
beteiligt haben, die haben
the
Manifest
Forum
erarbeitet,
Thinking the Future
wo sie
presentation of the
zusammengefasst haben, wie sie Europa
manifesto.
sehen, was sie sich erhoffen, was sie erwarten.
Young people telling
Und dieses
you
Manifest
what
wird
they
dann auch im
wish
kommenden Jahr
for the
veröffentlicht
future.
werden.
This manifesto is going
Aber
to be
heute wird
published
wird
soon, but
bereits
it's going to
präsentiert
be presented
und darüber
today
diskutiert.
and discussed as well.
Der Professor.